I have to admit it, life's been good. Over the last year I've driven the beautiful Fiat Barchetta, the rather disappointing MGF, the wonderful Lotus Elise, the slightly soft Mercedes SLK and the simply brilliant Porsche Boxster. Who says you can't have your cake and eat it?
Oh well, back to the office. But what an office! Well, someone had to go to Madeira to try BMW's latest entry into the sports car market, their bargain basement Z3. It might surprise you to learn that since its launch almost a year ago, 35,000 Z3 Roadsters have slid off the production line in the USA. It's just that the Americans haven't got round to building any right-hand drive cars yet. But the 3,300 1.9-litre models already on order in Britain are due to start arriving in February. Doubtless the owners will be delighted, but for me, the one real drawback is that the 140 horsepower from the four-cylinder power plant just isn't enough. Now they've brought out this 192 horsepower 2.8-litre version, and it still isn't enough because this chassis is so good it just soaks it up. They give you traction control, but you really don't need it in the dry. The steering weight is just right and the gear change short and slick. The classic BMW front-engine rear-wheel drive layout can't quite match the mid-engine Boxster when it comes to the handling stakes, with a touch too much understeer if pushed into a corner too quickly. But the only real complaint I have is the lack of a decent exhaust note to add that all-important finishing touch. Now, that might sound like a trivial complaint, but in a car like this, designed to appeal to the enthusiastic driver, it's an almost unpardonable sin. You not only want the feeling of going fast, you want the sound as well. Along with the extra 50 horsepower, the six-cylinder 2.8 model gets a wider track and wheels front and rear with arches to match, which, allied to a bigger front spoiler and larger air intakes, helps to give the Z3 a more purposeful look. The retro lines are certainly not to everyone's taste, but like the Boxster, its oddness is its attraction. And despite being made in the States rather than in Germany, the whole car has the kind of build quality you would expect from a BMW, though Madeira's less than perfect roads did reveal a little scuttle shake. As you'd expect from BMW, the driving position is perfect, although you do tend to sit on rather than in these seats, and this steering wheel is a tad on the large side. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of open-top motoring, but I have to admit that even with the side windows down, there really is very little buffeting in this Z3. And if it does rain, it's got one of the fastest hoods in the business. The only trouble is, it really does make it look like a pram. And if that's too much effort, an electric hood is on its way this summer when the 2.8 models reach the showrooms with a price tag of around £27,000. The Z3 is a good car, but it doesn't quite hit the spot like the Porsche Boxster. It's less involving, lacking slightly in handling excitement and exhaust tone satisfaction. Then again, it's a whole £10,000 cheaper than the Porsche. But BMW may yet wrest the sports car crown from its rivals when the M version of the Roadster arrives at the end of the year with 320 horsepower on tap. And that really could be the icing on the cake.